Okay, guys, today we're going to get into this a little bit. We're going to talk about what really is a complete martial artist. Now, I know the world has their own ideas and variations about what's real. I completely disagree. I think they are in La La Land. But the reality is there's a lot of factors that I've seen in my experience of training for 37 years, right, that could probably get your ass kicked if you're not ready for it, okay? So, and figuratively and literally, right? The first thing is forms. Yes, you need to learn forms. People say, oh, forms won't help you, get in a real fight and they're no use and all that stuff. And that's really just how things filter out after it passes through time. Our understanding gets less and less of the original reasoning. Forms were always taught last. They would teach you to fight first. And after you knew how to fight, the forms help you keep the movements so you could pass it on again to someone besides your own self. So forms is, yes, they're on the list, okay? The very next thing is drills. I don't think this is really a big debate. I think everybody knows you need to do drills. You need to just keep pounding and pounding and pounding and pounding and changing and combinations and rearranging and rolling and whatever drills you have in your art, right? To make sure that you create muscle memory. Without muscle memory, you get in a fight, you're gonna freeze. So drill, 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 drill. After drills, sparring. I don't know why some people don't want to spar. Sparring is fun. Sparring is awesome. Sparring is like, people are just, you're making a big deal about it.
Come on, you asshole. Come on, you peckerhead. Let's see what you got.
Like, there's a lot of internal artists that say like, oh no, we don't do that. My stuff is too powerful. I'll kill you, And yeah, it might if you're doing it as hard as you can, but that's not really what sparring is. Check you out a little bit and you're gonna check me out a little bit. We're gonna get some bumps and bruises and some blood's gonna come out, but it's not a big deal. Sparring's fun. Don't be a pussy. You gotta have some form of cardio. I'm talking like, I'm serious. Like, cardio might be the most important thing on the list. If you are not trying to swim or, climb or, run, something that's gonna put you out of breath, because running could be the factor that saves your life. It may not actually come down to hand. See, if your building has a problem and you gotta get out in time, and you're like, I'm all tired, and you're out of breath, you're gonna die in a fire, and you're like, oh, I'm this expert at hand-to-hand combat, and now you died in the fire. Or you couldn't swim, and so you drown. So you gotta get the cardio up. You need to understand that martial arts is about survival first, right? In every art has their own aspects of survival. Get me straight now, I don't believe in mixed styles. I don't believe in that. I believe in enhancing styles. So if you are a judo expert, right, and you've been doing judo for 10 years, then you can pick up some boxing skills to enhance your judo. I do not believe you do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, because I think in the end it all becomes kind of like, it's really hard to grow a tree from lots of different seeds. One seed and enhancements. After that, we're looking at competition. Now, granted, a lot of these things have age variations. Of course they do, right? Like when you're at a certain age, it's not really suitable. But I think that right now, if you're at an age where you're in, 15 to 25, it's a good time to really see what happens when you go against somebody with your style who does not like you.
He doesn't like you.
I'm sorry.
I don't like you either.
He does not approve of you. He's not interested in you. And he's gonna do everything he can to beat you, right? This experience is important. But don't stay there.
You ready for next week?
I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready.
This is not how you're supposed to live your life, unless you're gonna be a professional fighter or whatever, right? Competition is very good for a few years, just like, 8th grade was awesome.
I don't wanna grow up, buy Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
After that, I'm telling you, and I know I'm gonna lose people on this. I'm gonna lose a lot of people on this, but it's just based on the experiences I've seen. You need to learn weapons.
My dear sweet brother Noopsy!
You need to learn weapons. When I first came to Taiwan, I went to the club, only here for 2 weeks. And this big old, MMA dude, super strong, man. I'm like strong, like muscle strong. You see somebody, you'd be like, damn, I ain't talking to him, And then he was talking to somebody's girl, and all these gangsters went outside to the car, and they came back in, and there was 10 cats with machetes. And they cut his shit down, all the way down here to his hand, and he lived, but that was the end of his story in the martial arts world. His martial arts world is over now because he didn't understand that weapons were an aspect, right? Especially if you're fighting against 10 guys. Now, you gotta pay attention to how much time you spend with each attribute. You need to practice fighting with multiple opponents. Absolutely. You need to practice fighting against weapons, but you need to make sure that you are adjusting your training to your particular environment. Here, we have a lot of guys with knives, so I know how to use knives. And in fact, after that, you need to learn some type of projectile weapon, some weapon that shoots, including guns. So if you're in the States and you don't have a gun, I know it sounds like honor and all this stuff, but what if somebody wants to shoot you? You're gonna get shot in your honorable ass. Why don't you just, pick up a small time to go and just boom, 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 boom. I know how to shoot, buy it, keep it somewhere safe, and then, you don't have to worry about that particular problem.
Did I hear someone say shut up? Yep.
Grappling. Like again, I said, I've seen so many fights, I know that it's a very bad idea to go to the ground. But maybe you slip on a banana peel. Maybe the dude's faster than you thought. Maybe you weren't ready for a grappler. If you have nothing on the ground at all, then basically you are going to embarrass all martial artists all around the world.
You are not Japanese. You are not a Tanaka.
Because if you, as a martial artist, lose to somebody who does not know martial arts, right? Because you didn't have the simple basics to just basically say, ooh, let me shrimp a little bit. I mean, can we shrimp a little bit? Get yourself out of that position. And you can also include grappling, right? And weapons. If you're on the ground and somebody else has a weapon, you should be on the ground and know how to use a weapon.
Like this, I can frame to prevent it for just a little bit while I'm pulling this out. Where's the number one?
Yeah.
Number one thrust.
Yeah, right there.
Chi. Chi is something that has been so distorted because of all the books, comic books out here in Asia, TV shows and fake masters going out there. Look, Chi is science. It's basically the energy inside of your body that everybody has, just like a car has a battery, right? And if you continually practice those breathing movements over and over and over again, it's almost like you're magnetizing yourself with the environment. And I'm not saying it's gonna give you superpowers, it's gonna make you more powerful though, but it's not gonna give you superpowers. What it will do is, one, it's gonna calm you down.
If it ain't serious, Lucy, Leroy Green.
So that you can kind of see what the best decision is in the particular situation. See, if I whoop your ass and I go to jail, I lose the fight. Do you understand? If I put myself in a position where I'm more injured or my body's hurt and I don't know how to heal it, right? I'm gonna retire early. So when I train, like when you train chi, you can move your blood one way and the other way. And that circulation of blood is gonna keep you more healthy. It's gonna keep you in a better youthful position. And speaking of youthful positions, it's gonna make you a lot better at sex.
What was that? Was that?
You know, I know most masters don't want to talk about that. I don't know why they don't. It's a major selling point. You know, if I had known that I could, you know, what I do now, like, we need to change the subject. I think something that most people miss is you need to understand that martial arts is an enhancement. It enhances what you're already doing. You can use martial arts styles to enhance the style you're doing, but you can use martial arts to enhance your life, which means that you need something to enhance, a particular skill, and preferably related to physics. Because if you're a carpenter and you practice martial arts and you have to fix this door, fixing that door is going to give you a better explanation about how to do a takedown. And doing a takedown is going to give you a better understanding on how to fix that door. So it's really like martial arts, the real yin and yang is that you have the skill of your life and then you also have the art, and they enhance each other. The other thing that's really underestimated is parkour and gymnastics. Now everybody, this is the thing, we're all kind of lazy or scared or arrogant. People say, oh, gymnastics doesn't work in a fight. And that is kind of true, but it's really just a matter of ego. You might get in a motorcycle accident, you crash, you know, I've had 5 different students and they roll out of it and they're okay, right? When a lot of other people, you know, they get their necks broken, right? So, I mean, depending on your environment and what you're doing, right? Gymnastics, man, is a great way to stop yourself from hurting yourself. And the other thing is you learn to trust yourself. I think that if you're at the age, you know, everybody should do a backflip, man, because you're scared of your own ability, and that fear carries over into your combat. So if you trust yourself enough to jump up in the air, flip over, and land on your feet again, then you're in a good relationship with yourself. There was a fire in a building, and the people on the 3rd floor, you know, families, they all were burnt up. Like, just a little bit of knowledge about parkour could have saved their lives. So you don't know what's gonna save your life. Is it gonna be parkour? Is it gonna be hand-to-hand, right? And moving on from that, survival skills. How many, you know, survival skills do you know? Do you know how to make a fire? Do you know how to get food? Do you know where food is located at? These things, if you don't have it, you could be the most amazing fighter in the world and starve to death. Do you not know where water is located? You need to make sure you have these things, because the real fight is about survival and about living to a long time.
Just dumb kid, huh? Don't kill him.
Escaping. I'm not sure if a lot of people spend a lot of time on this, but it's not as difficult as you think. And I think that every single person who studies martial arts, you should know how to get out of handcuffs, right? At least. Ropes, handcuffs, you know, binds, whatever it is. There are a lot of people giving information on this. Don't be lazy in your study, because you don't know what you're going to be dealing with. Meditation. Meditation, a lot of people think of it as kind of like, or doing something like that or whatever, but the reality is that you become aware of your thoughts. Like, what are you thinking about right now? What's on your mind right now? See, most of the time when you're driving, you're walking, you have all these worries. Most of your thoughts are bad.
What's going on? I know this isn't real.
Do you though?
MJ!
And they just keep coming back around and cycling in a loop. How much money you gotta pay, you're late, and you know, the job and the house. And so it just keeps going around and around, and you're in this dark, dark world. But that's not reality. That's just what your mind has chosen to play. Your mind is a tool And everything is just a tool. Your mind is a tool that really supports the thinking part. But it's not you. You are not your mind. So by spending time meditating, you can really kind of isolate and see that this is a tool. You're concerned about these different things, but that's probably not going to happen. So I'm in charge, and I'm going to run this show.
Listen to me now. Listen to me now.
Knowledge. Once again, we go into talking about the crossover. What you know about the human anatomy is going to affect what you know about your combat.
Distract target. Then block his blind jab. Counter with cross to left cheek.
So if you're not ever spending any time reading up on how the body works, like medically, particular different situations, right? How in the world are you going to be more effective? The body can only do what the mind understands. So make the mind understand more and the body can do more. Recovery. If you hurt somebody in a fight, you're going to have to let them be able to recover from that. You're going to have to put them in a situation where it's for sure like, okay, because if you kill him and he dies, then you still lose. So protect yourself, defend yourself, and then know how to get this person back into a good position. These are just the basics of combat. If somebody goes down, you have to figure out how to keep him alive. I used to study a little bit of ninjutsu when I was 16, and I tell you, ninjutsu, the best part about it is the awareness. It's like every time you go into a room, you're counting the exits. How many exits are there that you could get through? How many things in the room could you turn into a weapon?
I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6 cars outside. I can tell you that our waitress is left-handed and the guy sitting up at the counter weighs 215 pounds and knows how to handle himself. I know the best place to look for a gun is the cab of the gray truck outside. And at this altitude, I can run flat out for a half mile before my hands start shaking.
It's more of a psychological understanding of survival. So that's what ninjutsu's real tool is, but that awareness, because it doesn't matter how dope you are, if somebody comes behind you and hits you with a bottle, you know, and you shake out, you know, like that's, why did you train so hard for? Just to get hit with a bottle in the head by an angry girlfriend, you know? And probably the most important aspect of it is the knowledge of self. The ability to not be provoked, angered, upset, manipulated by somebody else's opinion. See, you can disagree with me, that's totally cool, right? But if you disagree with me and I get upset, that's a problem.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
I don't need to be upset because you don't agree with me. You know, I'm confident in where I am. People say negative stuff about me. I have haters all over the world, right? If I actually let that affect my life, that affects my training, that affects my wife, that affects my kids, you know? Like what you need to do is just like realize that everybody is in a stage and they're trying to go to another stage. And they may use you and you may want to work with them and you may not. But the reality is, you are you. If you're not joyful, if you're not happy, you've already lost the fight. The whole point is to have a better life, right? You want safety, you want health, you want benefits, you want this and that and this. But if you are not joyful in your own life, there's nothing to fight for, man. So that's my 2 cents. I love you guys. See you next time.
If you haven't already, you can go to Amazon, purchase my book and follow my life story, or read the exciting novel based on all the styles in my lineage. Also, there's my online training program. Anyone can join anytime. It will eventually evolve all the techniques of my style.